She never once believed she was doing anything wrong, not even slightly. In fact, after so many years of living on a modest income and carefully managing her budget, she felt a quiet pride. She had managed to set aside just over £3,000, not for luxury or indulgence, but simply to have a small cushion in case her washing machine broke down again or her grandchildren needed help buying school uniforms. It wasn't a lot, but it gave her something far more valuable than the money itself, a sense of peace, a feeling of security. But one morning, that comfort was shattered. A letter arrived. One of those formal, unsettling envelopes that seem to carry trouble inside them before you even break the seal. And sure enough, what it contained left her utterly stunned. Her financial support had been terminated. Just like that, no phone call, no warning, no explanation she could understand. The letter stated that her savings had passed some limit, some invisible threshold she never even knew existed. No one had told her this was possible, that the very thing she had been trying to do, save responsibly, could be used against her. It felt like she was being punished for being sensible. And the hardest part wasn't even the money itself, although that loss stung. It was the implication that she had done something wrong. That she was somehow undeserving. It knocked her confidence and filled her with confusion and fear. But here's the difficult truth, she is far from alone. Across the United Kingdom, pensioners, people who have worked all their lives, raised children, paid into the system, followed the rules, are now being caught off guard by these rules they didn't know existed, rules that are rarely discussed until it's too late. If you have savings yourself or you help a spouse, friend, or elderly relative with theirs, this could easily become your story too. What happened to her can happen to anyone. And that is why we need to talk about this openly, calmly, and with compassion, because far too many good, decent people are being left in the dark, and they deserve the truth before they find themselves in a similar position. Her name was Margaret, a retired dinner lady from Kent. She had lived in the same house for nearly 40 years. Anyone who knew her would describe her as frugal, never wasteful. The kind of person who folded up plastic bags to reuse them, who turned down the heating and put on another jumper, who bought in bulk to save pence wherever possible. And then one day, without any prior indication, her pension credit stopped. Just like that. It wasn't even the absence of the money that hurt most, it was the deep and sudden feeling that she had done something wrong. Even though all she had done was save a little. She confided that she just wanted to feel secure, to have something in place in case something unexpected happened. She had no idea that having some savings, just over £3,000, could turn against her like this. But the system, as it stands, allows exactly that. In the UK, if you're over state pension age and your income is considered low, you may be eligible for pension credit, a benefit that helps top up your weekly income to a minimum level. But if your savings exceed £10,000, the Department for Work and Pensions assumes you're earning interest on that money, even if you're not, and begins reducing your entitlement accordingly. This process is called deemed income. The calculation assumes that every £500 over the £10,000 limit is generating £1 a week in income, regardless of your actual interest rate. Even if your money is sitting in a standard savings account, doing virtually nothing, the system still makes this assumption. And worse, even smaller amounts, well below the £10,000 threshold, can cause reviews, delays, or issues if not properly reported. It's not widely advertised. It's buried in fine print. And most people, like Margaret, only learn about it after receiving that dreaded letter in the post. Margaret's particular case was triggered by a modest inheritance from her sister, just over £3,000, the largest sum of money she'd had in one go in years. She didn't splurge or spend it frivolously. She simply added it to her savings account, thinking it would help her sleep a little easier at night. No one from the government reached out to explain the rules, and there was no helpline that proactively walked her through the consequences. What came instead was a cold, impersonal letter and an exhausting journey of calls, forms, and appeals. It dragged on for weeks. And Margaret, who had tried so hard to do things the right way, was left feeling disheartened and confused. Sadly, Margaret's story isn't unique. Peter, a widower from Bradford, shared a similar experience. After his pension credit was reviewed, he said he'd stopped saving entirely. "What's the point?" he asked. "If I save, they take it away. If I spend it, I've got nothing left. Either way, I lose." Hearing that kind of resignation from people who've lived through wars, recessions, and personal hardships is painful. These are the same people who kept communities going through the toughest decades, who raised families on limited incomes, who never asked for much, and who now find themselves punished for being cautious. So what can be done? First, anyone who has savings and receives pension credit or any support from the DWP should check where they stand. The government provides a pension credit calculator on the Gov.uk website that can help you get an idea of your situation. Admittedly, it isn't always user-friendly, especially for older people not comfortable with online systems. But help is available. Citizens Advice has trained professionals who can walk you through the process, explain your rights, and help you understand any changes in your situation. Age UK is another excellent resource offering guidance with patience and kindness. The most important thing to remember is not to panic. Don't rush to empty your savings account just to stay under a certain number, because sometimes that's not necessary. Often, it's just a matter of properly reporting the change, or getting help to appeal a decision that wasn't fairly made. If you're reading this and thinking, "Why does nobody explain this before it's too late?" You're not alone. You are absolutely not alone. People like Rita from Devon, who sold some of her late husband's old jewelry to help pay for his funeral, never expected that would interfere with her pension credit. Or Alan from Glasgow, who generously took in his grandson after his daughter became ill, not realizing it would trigger a benefits review. These aren't people looking to cheat the system. They're people trying to do what's right for their families. Their stories matter. Your story matters. Sometimes, it feels like the system sees only numbers, savings balances, interest assumptions, benefit thresholds, and forgets that behind every figure is a human life. Every statement and balance sheet hides a history: a man who gave up luxuries for decades just to get by, a grandmother who skipped meals so her children could eat, a woman who worked night shifts so her family wouldn't go without. These people deserve better than bureaucratic coldness. They deserve respect. If I could sit beside you with a warm drink and share just on. It is not shameful. You have the right to ask questions. You have the right to clear answers. You deserve transparency, and you deserve to be treated with dignity, whether you've saved £1,000 or £10,000. And if the system isn't working for you, you have the right to support, to guidance, and to be heard. Don't let fear or confusion hold you back. The good news is that more people are starting to speak up. More local groups, charities, and even councils are holding workshops, offering advice clinics, and shining a light on these unfair practices. It's still early days, but it's a step in the right direction. And the more we talk about this, the harder it becomes for these rules to remain hidden in technicalities and fine print. You are not invisible. You are not just a number. If you've stuck with this story to the end, thank you. It shows you care about your future, your family, and your right to be informed. And that's something to be proud of. Keep asking questions. Keep learning. Keep sharing what you find. Because there are people out there, people like me, like you, who are ready to stand up and keep speaking until this system becomes clearer, fairer, and kinder to those who need it most. No pensioner in the United Kingdom should ever feel punished for trying to do the right thing. You matter. Your future still matters. So keep your head high, stay informed, and know that you are never, ever alone.